Good night, this is Fumi's Sleepy Time Stories. Tonight's bedtime story is about to begin.
On a clear day beneath a cloudless sky, a wealthy landowner stood in his courtyard, surveying his fields and orchards. The wheat was heavy with grain, and the fruit trees bent under the weight of their harvest. Last year's crops were still, stored in the granary upstairs, so much so that the beams groaned under the load. He then strolled into the cow barn and horse stable, where fattened bulls and milk cows stood content. A fine steed, brushed till it shone, stood proudly among them. At last, the landowner returned to his sitting room, and his gaze fell upon an iron chest brimming with gold. There he stood, calculating the extent of his fortune. Suddenly, a knock echoed, not on the door to his house, but upon the door of his heart, and the door opened. He heard a voice say, "Have you ever done good for your family? Have you thought of the suffering of the poor? Have you shared your food with the hungry? Are you content, or do you still crave more?" His heart, hard and proud, quickly replied, "I have always been cold and stone-hearted. I show no kindness to my family, and I never spare a glance at beggars. I do not believe in God. I only seek to gain more and more wealth. Even if the whole world were mine, it would not be enough." The landowner was shaken to the core. His legs began to tremble, and he had to sit down. Just then, another knock came, this time upon the actual door of his home. Standing outside was his neighbor, a poor farmer with many children, so many that he could scarcely feed them. "I know my neighbor is rich," thought the poor man, "but he is also heartless. I don't believe he'll help me. Still, my children are crying for food. I must try, for their sake." Aloud he said, "You are not known to give anything freely, but look at me. I'm like a man drowning with the water above my head. My children are starving. For their sake, lend me 4 measures of grain." The landowner stared at him for a long while. A flicker of pity passed through his heart, and the ice of his greed began, ever so slightly, to thaw. "I will not lend you 4 measures of grain," he said with a smile, "but I will give you 8, if you agree to one condition." "What must I do?" asked the farmer eagerly. "When I die," said the rich man, "you must keep watch over my grave for 3 nights. The farmer was troubled by this request, but he was in desperate need and would have agreed to anything. He accepted the deal and carried the grain home. It seemed the landowner had sensed something. Just 3 days later, he suddenly collapsed and died. No one knew exactly why, and no one mourned him. When the burial was over, the farmer remembered the promise he had made. He could have let it slip by, and he felt tempted to do so. But he said to himself, "He treated me better than others did. I fed my children with his grain, and besides, a promise made is a promise to keep." When night fell, the farmer walked into the graveyard and sat beside the grave. The night was hushed, and the moonlight lay gently upon the mound. Now and then, an owl passed overhead with a sorrowful cry. The sun rose, and the farmer returned home unharmed. The second night passed much the same. But on the third night, the farmer felt a strange unease, as though something was about to happen. So instead of going straight to the grave, he lingered outside the graveyard wall. And there, he saw a stranger. The man was older, with a scarred face and eyes sharp as knives. He wore an old coat and high leather boots. "What are you looking for?" the farmer asked, mustering his courage. "Aren't you afraid to be out here in this lonely graveyard?" "I fear nothing," the man replied. "Nothing at all. I'm like that young fellow who set out to learn fear. He never managed, but still won a princess and a fortune. Me? I'm just a poor retired soldier with nowhere else to go. I'll spend the night here. If you're truly unafraid, then keep watch with me," said the farmer. "Help me guard the grave." "Standing watch is a soldier's duty," said the man. "Whatever comes, we face it together." The farmer gladly agreed, and the two of them sat down at the graveside. All was quiet through the first half of the night. But after midnight, a piercing howl sliced through the air, and before them appeared a devil. "Out of my way, you worthless worms," the demon bellowed. "The man buried here belongs to me. I'm taking him with me, and if you don't move, I'll snap your necks." "Listen here, you red-haired scoundrel," the soldier replied. "You're no commander of mine, and I've never learned how to be afraid. Be off with you. We're staying right here," the devil thought. "I'll buy them off." His voice turned sweet and false as honey. "Would you two fine men be interested in a sack of gold? Take it and go home." "That sounds tempting," said the soldier, "but one sack won't do. If you give us enough gold to fill this boot, we'll leave at once." "I don't have that much on me," said the devil, "but a rich friend of mine lives nearby. He'll help me gather it." And with that, he vanished. The soldier pulled off his left boot. "He's in for a surprise. Friend, lend me your knife." He cut open the sole of the boot and placed it over a hole in the ground, half covered by grass. "This will work," he said. "That devil will be back soon." They waited. Soon enough, the devil returned with a sack of gold. "Pour it in here," the soldier said, raising the boot slightly. "But I doubt it's enough." The devil shook out the gold, coins clinking and tumbling in. Still, the boot did not fill. "You fool," shouted the soldier. "Didn't I tell you to bring more? Go back and fetch another." Grumbling, the devil left again, and returned an hour later with a larger sack. "Pour it in," said the soldier. But still, the boot remained unfilled. The devil's eyes blazed with fury. "Your calf is fatter than your thigh. How absurd. You gee. Think I have hooves like you?" the soldier scoffed. "Stop being so stingy. Bring more, or the deal's off." Once more the devil trudged away. When he returned, the sack on his shoulder nearly crushed him. He poured gold into the boot, but it still wasn't full. The devil screamed in rage and lunged to grab the boot, to tear it apart. But just then, the first ray of morning sun pierced through the clouds and fell upon him. With a howl, the devil turned and fled, smoke rising from his back, and the poor soul buried in the grave was saved. The farmer wished to split the gold, but the soldier said, "Give my share to the poor. I'll move into your little house, and we shall live out our days in peace and quiet, until at last God calls us home."